So you've launched something into the world and you're getting some feedback. What rhythms do you and your team have around adapting products after you've put them out there? How do you make sure they're
Yeah.
continually getting better?
That's a great question. So every time that we have, so for us in our business, we have a lot of live trainings that are online. So we take people through as a cohort. So we have our mentor coaches, myself, our customer experience team. So we're all in there working people through the training, helping them gain their skills. And so we can see real-time feedback. We also always ask for feedback after the course or the experience is done. And we pour through everything. And we start to parse things out into, again, what's like, okay, well, someone, for example, be like, oh, Marie, your program B school, can we have it be 6 months? And I'm like, no, like you have lifetime access to the program, but I'm not going to hold your hand for 6 months because it wouldn't serve you and it wouldn't serve us. That's not what our offer is, right? So you kind of parse through things that are people's wish list, but that are not in alignment with your vision of how your business should go. And then there might be other items where you're like, oh my goodness, that's a fantastic idea. Let's get that on our roadmap. Let's put it on our project timeline and let's get that in there for the next release. And, the production may be 3 months or 6 months, depending on how big that improvement is, or they might be ideas for a completely other program. One thing that can happen, especially for a business like mine, is people want you to keep just pouring more and more and more in, and it can create bulk where it just overwhelms people. But if I start to see enough of a theme, I'm like, oh, this is an opportunity for a completely separate program that I'd like to go deep on to really solve this particular issue that I didn't even realize people had. So we kind of look through all of the feedback with a fine-tooth comb and we sit on it. We don't just act on it right away, but we think about it, we process it, we talk about it with different members of the team, and then really evaluate whether or not it's a piece of feedback that we can take action on, or if it's an opportunity to refer out to other people who might solve this because it's not in our wheelhouse. We wouldn't be the best provider of that particular solution or service.
Yeah, it's a great reminder that you don't need to be all things to all people. And a lot of businesses go, well, if we could do this, this, and this, we could get a whole new audience and make a lot more money. But focusing on one thing and doing it really well and knowing exactly who you're after is so important. It's the difference between the Cheesecake Factory menu and In-N-Out Burger. It's like we got burgers and fries, or we have 90,000 options, and it's overwhelming, and I don't even know where to start, and I just want a burger and fries. Take me to In-N-Out.
Yeah. And I mean, most of us in our businesses, especially the small business owners that I've engaged with, it's like overwhelm is such a huge, prevalent, unending issue. So you have to proactively manage that on your own. I always say simplify to amplify. Simplify to amplify. When you simplify your offerings, when you simplify what you do, when you become really, really good at just a small handful of things, you can go so deep. There is so much trust. The word is spread. Word of mouth marketing, one of the most powerful forms of marketing there is. That often happens, right? When you don't have 90 million things that you're trying to do. And for most small business owners, they don't want 50,000 employees, right? Or all of the kind of complications that can come with that level of complexity in a business. So I'd say simplify to amplify is a mantra that you can use to hone in on kind of like the 80-20 rule. Where are 80% of your best customers coming from? Where's 80% of your best profits coming from? 80% of your joy, your impact, the emotional connection? And focus there. And it's usually 20% of your activities, your products, or your services. So it's usually a small slice of what you're doing that produces the biggest benefit, and you can narrow in on that small slice. You're going to see a huge change in your business, your happiness, your fulfillment, and your stress levels.
Yeah, staying focused. That's important on what really matters. So we started talking in the beginning about delegation. And so I want to loop back around here as we're talking about starting before you're ready and adapting along the way. How do you know what to delegate, what not to delegate? Who should this go to? Who can I trust on the team? What does that process look like for you?
So for me, over time, I've gotten very, very clear on what my unique gifts and abilities are. So when it comes to content creation, right? That's what I do. I'm a teacher and a writer at heart. So those are where I should be spending the majority of my time, is like creating the content, delivering the content, and ideating about the marketing, because it's a joy for me and it's a love for me. It's a form of art. I love inspiring people to take action towards something that's good for them and good for me. Anything that falls outside of those, I know I need to delegate it to members of my team who are excellent in those areas. You asked about how do I know who we can trust with this? I think trust is earned and built over time. And with your team, it's about the same thing that we talked about in the beginning. Starting small doesn't mean thinking small. Find a small project that is perhaps new for someone. Set them up for success, a clear deadline. What does success look like in the end? What's the outcome that you're hoping for? Who should they go to for questions in between? Do they have questions up front? How often do you want them to check in and kind of show you the milestones along the way to make sure that they're on the right path? So I think that there's a rhythm you can develop with each member of your team. And that might be a little nuanced depending on their work style, the workflow of the project, how long term it is. But the more you can keep things tight, small, and with a quick turnaround, I feel like that is the secret sauce to being able to build trust up faster. You can see somebody's work, you can give them feedback, hey, you're on the right track, or this part's on the right track, this is completely not, let's readjust here. And then this way, people feel empowered because they're getting that feedback and they're not left on their own for 3 weeks and then showing you something and you're like, this is totally not what we were supposed to do. So I think as leaders, we have to take responsibility for that hand-holding in the beginning, get the project scope down small, and then really teach people what success looks like.